Тире это надо. Свидание. Продолжаем. Да? Уехали. А, с этого момента. Ладно, окей, давай пройдем это еще раз. Пацаны, все норм. Я это уже видел. Едем дальше. Давай, давай, добивай. Минус нога. Ну давай. Так, ловкость. Давай до десяточки. Воля. На воле пока что мне нормально. Здоровье. Так, все, да, сохранить.
It looks like there's writing on these stones, but it's very worn. Can your elven eyes make it out, Lore Master?
Faintly. It appears to be a list of names, many of them scratched in haste. They are identified as soldiers of Cardinal.
The men of Cardinal were among the last of my ancestors to hold out against the evil of the Witch King. The histories tell us that they used the Barrow Downs as their last refuge in a hopeless fight.
Then this must be where they laid their fallen comrades to rest. It would be pity if we were to drive the whites from this tomb.
Я уж подумал, что вы не появитесь. бойтесь, сука, меня бойтесь. Так. Ну все, хороший, пацаны, хороший. Здравствуйте. Так, прямо налево. Нету ничего налево, зато есть направо. Красавцы. Нахуй пошли все. Чего-то тут не сохранилось, походу.
sort of spirit is that? You're no match for me!
Тихо. Сука. Боеприпасы, сука. Ладно, неважно, он здесь появился.
We can continue our journey.
Ну и как я? Неплохо, ебать. Наверное, через пещеру. Так, я пришел оттуда. Отъебись.
Feel my wrath and despair!
Дальше.
Stomach to face me!
Here, my friends.
Я добью, не переживай.
Light. Чай с дикими ягодами прекрасен.
минус. Прошу сюда к нам поближе. Сейчас. Ну, блядь, ну чё за лаги, ёб твою мать? Ну, ёб твою мать, ну комп. Ты долбоёба совсем, блядь. Игра 2011 года. Сука, заебал, ублюдок. Спасибо. Спасибо, детка. О, сука.
I can make short. There's a poor excuse for a hidden door.
Сокращение времени необходимо для восстановления применяемых навыков. Да. Ну что, давай еще разок сразимся. Yes. Да. Давай посмотрим, что можно продать. Опа. А что надо? Ловкость нужна. Окей. Так, починиться надо? 65. Не надо. Нормально, пошли.
Oh, John! Another one of these creatures! Beware the stones! You're no match for me!
shards of a ranger's sword. I know this blade. It belonged to Kalara.
This is one of your comrades over here.
The tracks show where two bodies were dragged to the entrance of that large barricade.
Are they living or dead?
That I can't say.
The only way to discover their fate is by following them.
This tomb makes my blood run chill. This is no place for living men.
Let's find my friends.
Let's hope we're not too late.
Ай, блин, надо же еще отдать лист. этой целительницы. У меня был сейчас возможность телепортироваться в лагерь. Ладно, окей. Чуть попозже тогда. Да, подожди. Пускай они сюда пойдут лучше. Ну что, пацаны, идем. Ну, и где еще, где? Да чего тут еще трахаетесь-то? Yes. Уехали. Боеприпасы. О, телепорт. Так, сейчас. Сейчас. Отдать королевский лист. Отдать королевский лист. Так, продать. Ага. Не надо щит, не надо щит. Не надо. Могущество. Подумаем. Не надо. Требуется воля. Ага. Шанс похитить здоровье 2%. 16 воли для кольца. Окей. Урон-то где? И так далее, и так далее. Так. Так. А чё, в какую сторону-то? Не понял, а чё так далеко? Могли бы просто здесь появиться.
Let me see what you have found. Yes, this is indeed Athelas. Now, according to the old law, all I need to do is add these leaves to boiling water. Let Elrond breathe in these fumes.
Selana? And our dwarven friend as well. How can this be? I thought you were all slain. But no. That was only the dark voices in my dreams. Yet, it was not all a dream, was it?
The fight was real enough. You fought bravely.
I tried to do my part, but I'm afraid I was not much use. I remember being scared mostly, and then the darkness fell. I thought it was the end of all things.
It's a good thing Selana here knew how to save you.
Mine was the knowledge, but it was this brave dwarf who found the herb that saved you, at great personal risk.
Then I owe you my life, friend. Please, let me show my appreciation. My weapons were made in Lost Numenor in the distant past. They've been in my family for generations. I want you and your friends to have them now.
Numenor? I've never heard of that land.
Numenor was the land of my ancestors, a great civilization, but it sank beneath the sea thousands of years ago. Only a handful of survivors, led by Elendil, escaped here to Middle-earth.
And who was this Elendil?
A mighty lord of Numenor. It was he who founded the realms of Arnor and Gondor long ago. Our chieftain Aragorn is his heir.
Hush, boy. You forget that we Dunedain still keep our secrets.
Yes, I'm sorry, I grew careless. Forget I spoke. But come, my friend. Will you accept my gift?
My thanks. It is a fine gift. You'd best rest now. Farewell to you both.
А вы только что получили возможность награды. Найдите коробочку в меню предметов, используйте ее. Так, меч, топорик, стоимость. Давай меч. Выбранная награда появилась в вашем меню предметов. Уменьшенный урон +1. А у этого еще замедление износа. Так, 14 ловкости, 16 воли, 16 воли. Ясно, понятно. Так, а что, теперь куда? Туда? Поехали. Так, стоп. А, сундук еще закрыт.
he's alive. Come on then, Lewin. Time to awaken. Wake up!
No strength can prevail against this sickness. What good are swords in the face of this plague? What in the name of... Eridan?
Yes, it's me, my friend.
I have been dreaming.
What was all that about a plague?
I don't know. It was as if I was someone else. I remember a plague and despair.
The Great Plague. Nearly 300 years ago, it devastated the Dunedain of this region. You were sharing the dreams of those for whom this tomb was made.
Well, let those dreams remain with the dead. I want no more of them.
How did you end up in this darksome hole?
I recall we were making good speed through the downs, eager to return to our friends. But a fog began to rise and it became hard to find our way. We began to hear voices calling to us, as if from far off, or else underground. And then, the dead were all around us. We fought them, but then I felt the presence of something else, something stronger, more evil. I saw a shadowy figure seize hold of Kalaran and he fell senseless. He came for me. That's all I remember. But if I was brought living into this tomb, then the same would be true for Kalaran. We need to find him.
Let's go before any more dead things decide to turn up.
Так, где там мои эти напарники? Алло. Ну что, вперед, пацаны. Так, воля 13. Чтоб кольца надевать. Давай. что делает парень? Да ты заебал. Я себе, что он такой... Да, пидорас, а? А вот сука. Ну что, все? Че, вы не умеете прятаться за камнем, что ли?
I'm sorry about what happened to your comrade. Are you going to be all right?
First Black Riders, now Barrow Whites. This is more than men should have to contend with. But where there is life, there is hope. Thanks for your concern, but I will be all right. I owe it to those who have fallen to go on as best I may.
We've gathered some rich treasures from this tomb. You certainly deserve a share.
Thanks, but it would only serve to remind me of all of this. You keep what you have won.
You've been through a lot. Maybe you should come with us to Rivendell, or we can take you to Bree. It's not far away.
No, I feel my strength returning. I'll soon be myself again. And then I will bear Kalaran's body away from these tainted tombs. He should be buried with the rest of his brothers who fell at Sarnford.
The Barrow Whites have been driven out, and the way back to the surface is clear. You should be able to make it on your own now. Good luck and goodbye, woman.
I will need a short rest to regain my full strength. Then I will be on my way back to Sarnford. Good luck to you, Master Dwarf.
Master Elrond, allow me to present to you Farin of Erebor, a very valiant dwarf.
Indeed. It is an honor to welcome one so brave to my home, and your companions as well.
I am grateful for what you did at Fornost. If Agandaur's forces had joined in the hunt, there is little chance that I and my charges would have made it here to safety.
My thanks. Are you the lord of these halls?
Yes, I am Elrond Half-Elven, lord of the refuge of Imladris, or as you know it, Rivendell.
Half-elven? Are there men in your heritage, then?
Both my sire, Earendil, and my mother, Elwing, had fathers who were of the Edain, the most noble of the men of old. They and their descendants are called the Parenthil, which means the Half-Elven.
Are you then of mortal kind, like other men?
To each of the Parathil is given a choice, whether to become mortal or to accept the life of the Eldar, the Elves. Long ago, I chose to be counted among elven kind. My own children will face this choice as well.
I'll admit I'm surprised a dwarf can find so warm a welcome in the hall of an elf lord.
Conflicts there have been between our folk in the past, but you are one of the trusty folk of Durin's line. More often than not, your people and mine have been allies and friends.
Happy to have been of service. Can you tell me what happened to you after we parted company?
I found the hobbit Frodo Baggins and his companions and led them through the wilderness, hoping to throw the Nazgul off our trail. All the same, 5 of them attacked our camp at Weathertop, and Frodo was badly wounded. After that, the enemy pursued us almost to the hidden pathways of Rivendell itself. We never would have saved Frodo, except that we had the help of Elrond and his people.
I still can't make out why the enemy would send his most terrible servants all the way from Mordor just to hunt for a hobbit.
I think it is time we told our newfound friends what they have gotten themselves into.
Gandalf! I should have known you would be involved with this somehow.
Indeed. Wherever there is trouble and strife, and the enemy is stirring, there you will find Gandalf the Grey.
I believe I have begun to glimpse the truth, yet I would gladly hear your explanation, Mithrandir.
You have more than earned such an explanation. Tell me, what do you know of Isildur's Bane?
Isildur's Bane? Isn't that another name for the Ring of Power?
Quite right. The Ring of Power. The One Ring. The ruling ring. After lying lost and nearly forgotten for centuries, Sauron's ring has once again been found.
Do you mean to say the hobbit Aragorn rescued has come into possession of the Dark Lord's ring?
It's a mighty good thing we managed to get it here safely. What will become of it?
There is no safe resting place for the ring. Not even here in Imladris. It is a danger to all who come near to it. There is only one course left to us. The ring must be destroyed.
To do so, the ring will need to be cast into the same fires from which it was forged. Those of Mount Doom, in the land of Mordor. The hobbit, Frodo Baggins, has agreed to take it there.
It cannot be that you will send a halfling alone and unaided into Mordor.
No, certainly not. A fellowship will be formed. A fellowship of 9. 9 walkers set against Sauron's 9 Black Riders. Among this fellowship will be representatives of all the free peoples of the world. Elves, dwarves, and men. Aragorn and I will both be going.
What about us? Is there nothing we can do to help?
The Nazgul and Agandaur are dire threats. We must learn all we can of their movements before the Fellowship is to depart. Scouts will be sent out in every direction to scour the lands around Rivendell. Your aid in this would be of great service to our cause.
Very well. Where should we start?
Agandawa is our chief concern. Although the Nazgul are powerful foes, their mission here in the north is abundantly clear. We can only guess what Agandawa may be planning, or where he went after he escaped from you.
I suspect he may be planning to move against us here. Sauron's hatred of the elves is very great, and he does not forget the hand we played in his defeat during the War of the Last Alliance.
If it is strength he wants, he may well find it among the Etenmoors.
You know that region better than I. What can you tell me of the Etenmoors?
The Etenmoors are a spur of the Misty Mountains, lying almost directly north of Rivendell. It is a wild region of very rugged terrain, home to many trolls and giants.
I myself was in the Etenmoors but days ago. I saw no sign of Agandawa's presence, but neither did I encounter trolls. That fact alone is troubling. It could be that they are gathering in force, somewhere among the moors.
If that's so, we don't want them taking us by surprise. We'll make our way to the Etenmoors and see what we can find out.
From what I have heard of you, from Aragorn and Elrond's sons, I expected no less. Still, you have had a long road and hard fighting to get this far. Take what time you need to rest and recover before you set out. The Etenmoors are a dangerous place for the unprepared.
The hospitality of my house is yours, for as long as you wish.
Ah, Farin. It is good of you to seek me out. You're a stout dwarf, like all of Durin's folk, and your courageous deeds have shown your worth.
What's Agandawa after? There are no mighty kingdoms to be found on this side of the Misty Mountains. What's Sauron afraid of here?
Sauron seeks dominion over all of Middle-earth. His desire is to order all things as he sees fit. Even were these lands empty from here to the sea, still he would seek to control them. There is power in Rivendell that could stand against him when all others fall, for a time. And this is something Sauron cannot allow.
I came all the way from the Lonely Mountain to help guard the Shire. Should I abandon what I set out to do?
You fulfilled your oath and protected the Shire when you were needed there, my good dwarf. Now you're needed more urgently elsewhere. With the flight of the ring in this direction, the enemy is looking this way and has forgotten the Shire for now. For now. But eventually his eye will turn once again toward the Shire, as humble as it is. Hobbits as miserable slaves would please him far more than hobbits happy and free. And there is such a thing as malice and revenge. Sauron will leave the final devastation of the Shire to his servant Agandawa. And that is yet another reason why you must find him and put an end to his designs. In opposing Agandawa, you are defending the Shire.
We had one of the great eagles lend us a hand, Claw, at Fornost. Right handy he was too. I was thinking he might help us get rid of the ring.
I don't fault you for thinking along those lines. Why not beg a ride from an eagle, fly far out to the west, and drop the ring into the deepest part of the sea? Such ideas were debated at Elrond's council. But there are many things in the deep waters, and seas and lands may change. We cannot think of our time alone. We must destroy this thing forever.
This orc lover, Agandawa. Do you know anything about him?
Though I know nothing of Agandawa himself, I have seen his kind at other times in distant lands. He is likely a black Númenorian, and a master of dark sorceries.
Well, that doesn't sound good. Just what we need, a sorcerer with a 5,000-year-old grudge against all free folk.
Who can say what promises Sauron has made to him? Perhaps even a ring of his own. At the very least, Agandawa expects to rule all of the North. He would be a cruel tyrant. The elves he will seek to utterly destroy. Hobbits, men, dwarves, any that survived, will be enslaved. And he will raise an iron kingdom in the North. in mockery of the ancient glory of Arnor. This is his dark dream. It must never come to pass.
When we first spoke, you said you recently passed through the Ettenmoors. Can you tell me anything more of them?
It is a rough and empty land, home to many trolls. I passed through with great haste, for I needed to reach Rivendell as quickly as I could.
You said there was no sign of trolls.
I saw neither trolls nor fresh signs of them, and that disturbs me more than encountering one. I doubt they've all packed up and left. Mindless brute creatures they may be, yet they can be used and driven to even greater wickedness by a strong enough hand. Agendour could well be forming them into an army.
Do you think he's mustering the trolls for an attack?
That is my fear. I would gladly be proven wrong, but my heart misgives me that somewhere in the Ettenmoors you will find them gathering and being prepared for war. We must know. Such a force could be sent against Rivendell, perhaps in hopes of capturing the ring.
I'll get my friends and we'll head for the moors. If there's something to find, we'll find it.
Так, первый перс есть. Пошли за вторым. Попиздим, так сказать. Ага, Исильдур. Вот и меч.
Greetings to you, Farin. Many times in the past have I welcomed your kin to my home. The bond between our kindred has at times been shaken, yet it has never been broken. Always before, I have placed my trust in Durin's folk, and never have they betrayed it. You will always be welcome here in Imladris, my friend. Yet I am certain you did not come here merely to exchange pleasantries. That is not the Dwarven way. Do you have questions for me?
I found this scroll at Fornost. I think maybe you should take a look at it.
A wise decision. This is writ in the black speech of Mordor, a language I will not utter here. It is intended to instruct the reader in the use of dark sorceries.
Well, maybe we should turn the tables on the enemy by making use of this scroll ourselves.
Have a care, warrior of Erebor. You tread on dangerous ground when you harbor such thoughts. This, like all works of the enemy, is altogether evil. Any who make use of this, even from a desire to do good, will only be corrupted by it. Surely the ring has taught us that much.
What is the Black Speech?
A language devised by Sauron when he desired a single tongue to be spoken by all who serve him. He had small luck introducing it to the scattered tribes of orcs and trolls, but it is still used by his highest-ranking servants.
Good thing we captured this, then. What will you do with it?
I will destroy this scroll, at the very least. But wait, here I discover more. Listen to what is written herein. Scribed by the hand of Agendour, disciple of the great Lord Sauron, for the empowerment of his servant Wulfrun and those others of his faithful who prove worthy. I will speak no more of these blasphemies, but it does say that this scroll is one of 7 such works.
Seems like Agendour could have written a whole lot more than just 7.
Perhaps, but creating something of this nature is not a matter of simple scribing. Considerable preparation and effort is involved. We have reason to hope there are no more than 7.
So there are 6 more of these accursed things. Maybe we can find them all.
That would be a great service to our cause. Should you recover them all, bring them to me, and I will ensure they are destroyed.
Why bring them back? I can burn up any I find the moment I get my hands on them.
You will find that works of this sort are not so easily destroyed. There are strong wards placed upon them that protect them from mundane harm. But I have the necessary skill to remove these wards. Should you gather the remaining scrolls, bring them to me, and I will see them destroyed.
You can count on that.
In the meantime, please accept this in appreciation for bringing this matter to my attention. Perhaps it will be of service to you in your travels.
One more thing. I found this book hidden away in the ruins of Fornost. It looks to be quite old.
Ah, now this is writing of an altogether more wholesome sort. This was not made by any minion of Sauron, but rather by the men of Arthedain, likely before the fall of Fornost.
Seems like that ruin has been abandoned for quite some time.
It is more than 1,000 years since the Witch King of Angmar conquered Fornost and brought about the end of the Dunedain kingdom of Arthedain. What a grim day it was.
Tell me about this realm of Arthedain.
Arthedain was the last fragment of the great northern kingdom of Arnor. The heirs of Isildur ruled as kings of Arthedain until it too was destroyed by the enemy.
But according to the rangers at the Sarn Ford, the line of their kings did not end.
It is true Isildur's line has remained unbroken, but without a kingdom to rule, they have not claimed the title of king and have been known simply as chieftains of the Dunedain. It is our friend Aragorn who currently bears that title, although he will be the last to do so. Either he will become a king, or Isildur's line will come to an end with him.
So you think this book is a record from those days? You could be right, for we found it in a chamber that had been long sealed. Can you make out any of the writing?
Indeed. It seems to be a personal journal. And here is a name inscribed. M-A-L. Why, this appears to be a work of Malbeth, the seer of Arthedain.
Malbeth? Never heard of him.
Many of the Dunedain race are gifted with foresight, but none more than Malbeth. He predicted the final destruction of the kingdom of Arthedain, which befell exactly as he had foretold. I will examine this work carefully. Who knows what other visions are here recorded? It may be that we will find something of value to us in this time of trouble. You did well in bringing this to me. Take this in way of thanks.
Is there anything more you can tell me about this mission to the Ettenmoors?
Only that the Ettenmoors are a dangerous place at the best of times. The danger will be that much greater if the orcs and trolls are being organized by an outside force. You and your friends will need to have your wits about you.
Who could raise such a muster?
Agendaur would be my first guess, but it could also be a strong orc chieftain, or perhaps an unusually cunning troll. At worst, one or more of the Nazgul may have made their way there, if any of their mounts survived the flood we unleashed upon them.
Whatever may be happening there, you will know of it. Farewell, Master Elrond.
Так, награда. Звездного света, эльфийского. А подробнее. Сила, воля, защита. Ловкость, здоровье. Давай вот это вот. Yes. Так, одноручка. Да, серьезно? Урон от огня. Так, ну давай. Теперь с этой штукой походим. 18 воли. Теперь с Арагорном попиздим.
Ah, Farin, I am glad you are here. I feel I must apologize to you. When I was told a dwarf had appeared on the borders of the Shire asking to join the Dunedain in their watch, I was suspicious. I instructed Halbarad to keep a careful eye upon you, fearing you were a spy. Clearly he grew to trust you. And after all you have done, I have as well. I am sorry to have doubted you, my friend.
I'd like to know more about those chosen to be part of your fellowship.
Who is it that interests you?
Tell me about the Wood Elf, Legolas.
It is fitting that we have a representative of the Eldar, the Elves, along with us on this venture. They have been foes of Sauron since before the ancestors of the Dunedain first returned to the shores of Middle-earth. Legolas is keen of eye and ear, and he is unmatched as a bowman. His arrows seldom miss their mark.
What about this man of Gondor, this Boromir?
Boromir is the son of Denethor, the steward of Gondor. I had never met him before Elrond's council, but long years ago, under another name, I served his grandfather Ecthelion. The men of Gondor are valiant and strong, and by all accounts Boromir is foremost among them in courage and skill at arms. I suspect we will have need of his sword before our quest is through.
At least you will have a dwarf along with you, and one of the best too. You won't find a better companion than Gimli, son of Glóin.
I have only just met Gimli, but I hope he will prove to be much like you, stout-hearted and reliable, and a terror to his enemies in battle.
What about these other hobbits? Is it wise to send so many of the little folk on this quest?
We are asking much of Frodo. Until recently, he had never set foot outside the confines of the Shire. It will be a comfort for him to have the familiar companionship of his friends and kin, in the face of so much that will be new and frightening. I have traveled with these hobbits, and they proved far more courageous and hardy than many would suspect.
What about Gandalf? What can you tell me of him?
To know all there is to know of Gandalf would require a lifetime study. There is much about him that remains a mystery, even to me. Yet he is a relentless foe of Sauron, and without his vigilance the ring would already be in the hands of the enemy. His wisdom and leadership will be of great value to the Fellowship.
So, you go now to claim the throne of Gondor?
Above all, I go to help Frodo fulfill his quest. For unless the ring is destroyed, Gondor will soon fall, king or no king.
I take it you'd never heard of Agandaur before we spoke of him.
I had never heard nor dealt with Agandaur specifically, but I know his kind. Years ago I served in disguise in the armies of Gondor, where I contended with the corsairs of Umbar, who were often led by those akin to Agandaur. These black Númenóreans are a corrupt and wicked race. They worship Sauron as a god, and seek the utter destruction of all who oppose him.
Word is you've traveled a great deal. Is there anything you can tell me of the Ettenmoors?
Only that it is a dangerous and unforgiving place. My own grandfather Arador was slain by trolls in the Ettenmoors. It is important we learn if the enemy is active in the moors, but we do not send you there lightly. Be on your guard at all times while you venture there.
Good luck to you.
Так, что теперь куда пойдем? Кузница.
Even in strange surroundings, you can trust a dwarf to find his way to a forge. You are welcome in my smithy, Farin of Erebor.
Спасибо.
Even in strange surroundings, you are welcome in...
Seems like you're preparing for something. Can you tell me what you have planned?
My fellow smiths and I are preparing for a great work. Soon we will be called upon to reforge the legendary sword Narsil. In the meantime, I've been sharpening my skills by practicing the art of imbuing gemstones.
What can you tell me of this sword, Narsil?
Narsil was the sword of Elendil, a mighty lord of the Dunedain who defied the Dark Lord in the War of the Lost Alliance. He bore the sword in battle against Sauron, but he was slain and the sword was broken. Since that time, the shards of the sword have been an heirloom of the House of Elendil. It was to remain broken until the day when an heir of Elendil would go to war to reclaim the crown and title of king. That day will come soon, and the sword must be made whole once again.
What do you mean by imbuing?
Simply that certain objects have inherent virtues, and a skilled artisan can, through his craft, increase those virtues and bind them to an object for advantage. Gemstones are very strong vessels for this process. Sadly, appropriate gemstones have become difficult to find. The growing trouble throughout the land keeps travelers away, and our own people are staying closer to home.
Maybe I can lend a hand with that. I'll be traveling soon.
I would be pleased to have your help. I will provide you with a list of the types of gemstones that are of the greatest value to me. If you collect the stones, I am certain I could create something that you would find useful. But to be of use, the gemstones must be of the highest quality. Fortunately, we have as a guest a dwarf of the Lonely Mountain. Glóin is his name, and he is skilled in the appraisal of gems of all sorts. Once you have gathered the stones, allow him to examine them. He'll know if they are suitable.
I've found a few things on my travels that you might be interested in. Take a look.
Ah, these are work of Westernese, the lost land of Numenor. The men who forged these items were skilled indeed. You have the makings of a unique weapon here. Although these components were never part of a single work, I believe you have assembled everything I would need to make it so. The finished weapon would undoubtedly carry some elven qualities.
What do you mean by that?
Only that with a work such as this, the finished product is liable to reflect the nature of the smith who assembles it. If, for example, a dwarven smith were to complete this weapon, it might possess quite different qualities from the weapon I would create.
It seems fitting that a dwarven smith should do this work for me.
As you wish. I will help you should you change your mind.
I should be going.
How can I assist?
I should be going.
Никакие свойства не показывают мне. Леголас.
You don't look like any elf of Rivendell. I'd wager you are one of the wood elves of Mirkwood.
You are correct. I am Legolas, son of Thranduil, king of the Woodland Realm. And I believe you are a dwarf of the Lonely Mountain.
That's right. I'm Farin of Erebor. Strange meeting a wood elf here, when I so seldom see them at home.
It is true. The distance between our two realms is not great. Yet it seems we seldom have dealings with your folk.
I've been through Mirkwood. It baffles me that you wood elves chose to live in such a place.
Mirkwood is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth. It was called Greenwood the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty. But now, it is filled with darkness and dread, save only in the north where my father's realm is maintained.
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
What can you tell me about this Gollum?
A pathetic creature who long held the Ring of Power. The evil of the ring has left him twisted and tormented. His only thought is to recover what was taken from him.
How did Gollum manage to escape? I understood you wood elves were pretty good at holding prisoners. But this one got away?
Not from a lack of watchfulness, but perhaps from too much kindness. We occasionally allowed Gollum to go about the wood under close guard. But on one of these ventures, the guards were attacked by orcs from Dol Guldur. In the confusion, Gollum escaped. We followed his tracks southward for many leagues, until it drew near to Dol Guldur. There, it became too dangerous to pursue him any further.
Dol Guldur. A name of dread to my folk. What do you know of it?
A stronghold of the enemy in the south of Mirkwood. It was once the dwelling of the Dark Lord, until he was driven out in the year of the dragon's fall. But it has once again become a place of great evil. All the darkness that besets Mirkwood has its source in Dol Guldur.
So, will you be on your way back to Mirkwood soon?
No. I have been chosen to represent Elvenkind among the Company of the Ring. I will be accompanying the halfling, Frodo Baggins, on his journey south.
It seems a little strange that, with a house full of his own people to consider, Elrond chose you, a wood elf, to represent the elven folk in the Fellowship.
I asked for the privilege, and Elrond did not refuse me. I feel he may have been relieved not to lose any of his household to this quest. He will have need of all his strength, should the enemy move against Imladris.
Why'd you volunteer?
Partially to make amends for the loss of Gollum, but more so because this will be the final chapter in our long struggle against the darkness, and I wish to have a hand in our final victory, or at least to stand in the forefront of our last act of defiance.
Good luck to you, Legolas.
Так, это еще не все. Есть еще беседка. И вон туда нам и надо. Так, кто тут у нас сидит? Бильбо.
Hello. Always happy to meet a dwarf, and one from the Lonely Mountain, if I'm not mistaken.
I am Farron of Erebor, and we've met before, Bilbo Baggins.
Чё за очко? Я что-то не понял.
Раньше было GTA Online, теперь очко.
Блять. Ага, так ты реально в GTA-шке сидишь?
Нет, я это диалоги читаю в этом, в «Войне на севере».
Так.
Сейчас я тут дозакончу и подключу этот VPN хуйню эту.
Так она у тебя вроде как работает?
Нет, она закрыта пока что.
Где она, блядь, вообще, блядь, где она? Алло. Ты ушел, короче, я чуть сыграл Elderborn.
Чего, блядь?
Elderborn сыграл я.
Это что такое?
Игруха такая.
Как Elder Ring и Bloodborne, только...
Нет, ни хера вообще.
Это их сын?
Нет. Я не знаю, я не... Это вообще не оно. Это больше по старым играм. Она больше на старые игры похожа. Она новая. Она инди.
Давай-ка надо допиздеть со всеми.
You don't look like any elf of them.
You are correct. I am
I've been through
Mirkwood is in ages past.
What brought you on?
Unpleasant.
What can you tell me? How did Gollum?
Not from a lack of, but on one of the, we followed him.
Dol Guld.
A stronghold, but it...
So?
No.
It seems a little... Why'd you volunteer? Good luck to you, Lego.
Farron, what can I do for you?
I've been through...
Mirkwood is the great in ages...
What brought you on?
Unpleasant business.
Все понятно. Окей. Что по этим? Осколки могу тебе сделать, либо... Что могу помочь? Ремонт. Так. Все, в принципе, у меня отремонтировано. Это хорошо. Мы закончили... Точнее, я закончил. На Бильбо Бэггинсе. Давай с тобой побазарим, братан.
Hello. Always happy to meet a dwarf.
I am Farron of Erebor.
Have we now? Oh, I'm afraid I don't recall. But you'll have to forgive me. I've grown somewhat forgetful lately.
We met upon your last visit to Erebor. I guess that was near 20 years ago now. And before that, I had the honor of sharing the field with you at the Battle of Five Armies. That was my first real taste of battle. I was hardly more than a lad at the time, but it was a glorious day.
Oh, yes, the Battle of the Five Armies. A nasty business, that. Personally, I'm glad those days are behind us. But then again, it seems as if they may not be. Everything seems to be pointing to some dark times ahead. Speaking of which, I'm told that you and your friends did a great deal to help my Frodo and the Dunedain reach Rivendell safely. You'll have to tell me all about it one of these days so I can write it down properly.
This Frodo, he is your heir, but I had not heard that you had a son.
Oh no, he's not my son. Actually, he's my first cousin once removed. And also my second cousin once removed. Well, it's complicated, but we share a great-grandfather. The poor lad was orphaned at an early age, and so I adopted him. Made him my heir, all nice and legal, while simultaneously dashing the greedy hopes of my odious relations, the Sackville Baggins. He's a good lad, Frodo. I only wish he hadn't inherited my troubles along with my estate. I hope that Gandalf and the Dunedain will keep him safe in the days ahead.
The Dunedain? Who do you mean?
Why, Aragorn, of course. From the Elvish, Dun-Adan, man of the West. Númenorian. Around here, Aragorn is often known simply as the Dunedain. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
Can you tell me how Frodo came to hold the Ring of Power?
Well, yes, that was through me, I'm afraid. I found the ring by happenstance while lost beneath the roots of the Misty Mountains. I won it. That is to say, I took it from the preacher Gollum. Of course, I did not know the full story of the ring until only a few days ago. I thought it was merely a magical bauble with the power to make the wearer invisible. I only used it to avoid unwelcome visitors. Imagine that old ring of mine causing such a fuss. I would gladly take charge of it again if that would help. Oh yes, gladly. Yes. You know, I think it would be best if we discussed something else.
Now you call Rivendell your home.
Well, the Shire will always be my home, I suppose. But this is the perfect place for so many things that I'm more than content to remain here. My days are mostly filled with my writing now.
What is it you write?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. History, my past adventures, family trees. I've even begun a book of translations from the Elvish. Although lately I've been working on poetry mostly. Say, maybe you could help me with that. I'm writing a poem for Aragorn, and I'm a bit stuck on a line or two.
Are you now? Well then, let me hear what you have.
Very well, very well. The verse that's giving me trouble runs like this. The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled.
Весть из Имладриса всем народам. Западный светоч пылает снова. Встанет потомок древнего рода. Он ловко машет мечом здоровым. Он победит властелина злого. Где нам такого найти второго? И сломанный меч будет вновь откован.
The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled. The scion of Westernest kings.
Why, yes, yes, that's just the thing, isn't it? Oh, my friend, you should consider exchanging those weapons of yours for the poet's pen.
The enemy won't be stopped by poetry, I'm afraid.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right, but since these old hands are not much use with a sword, I'll just keep on with the pen. Though I'll need some help. Perhaps you could show this to the Lady Arwen. She has her people's gift with words, and this touches her deeply after all.
Arwen. And who is that?
Why, she's Elrond's daughter, of course, and Aragorn's beloved as well. Although you didn't hear that from me, she's a sweet lady, and I'm sure she'd be willing to give me a hand with this.
I'll take it to her.
Ah, thanks very much. Be sure to give her my compliments, won't you?
I'll be sure to do that. Farewell, Bilbo.
Как вы посредники охуительны прям.
Welcome, Dwarf of the Lonely Mountain. Welcome to Imladris. Are you in need of anything to help you in your travels? I have many things in my keeping that might serve you well.
Imladris? Where is that?
Your pardon. This is Imladris, the house of Elrond Half-Elven. We who dwell here call it by that name, but it is more commonly known as Rivendell.
Она мне сейчас втащит.
What sort of folk dwell here in Rivendell?
Elves, for the most part. My people have dwelt in Imladris for a very long time indeed. But there are other folk to be found here as well. Elrond welcomes all people of goodwill. The Dunedain come often, your own folk come occasionally. We are even home to one special hobbit.
What can you tell me about Elrond?
To tell you everything I know of Master Elrond would take many days. Let it suffice to say that he is an elven lord of great and noble lineage, ancient beyond mortal reckoning, and wise beyond measure. None are more skilled as a healer, or more versed in the lore of ages past.
This is such a peaceful place. It must take a fair number of warriors to keep it so.
This is a place of learning and peace, not a fortress or camp of war. But there are those here who wield great power, especially the Lord Elrond. Yet even he does not have the strength to overthrow the Dark Lord, or to resist him if he comes against us with great strength.
I intend to do all I can to see that day never comes.
Nobly spoken. I am told you have done great deeds on behalf of all free folk, and I am certain you will accomplish greater things still. But if you plan to contend with the enemy, you must be well prepared. Perhaps you should examine the stores we have on hand.
My thanks for the welcome, lady. Might I ask your name?
No, indeed. I am Alare, one of Master Elrond's stewards. I help to manage the needs of his household, including arms and armor. I suspect you might have need of such things.
I'm surprised to find elves who are so hospitable to a dwarf. Pleased, mind you, but surprised nonetheless.
In other places there may be distrust between elf and dwarf, but all who bear no ill will toward the elves are welcome here. You have already done a great deal to aid our common cause, so I am happy to call you an ally and a friend.
Oh, it's an honor to be called friend by such a gracious and beautiful lady.
I was unaware that dwarves had such flattering tongues. Perhaps you should look at the stores I have on hand. Maybe you will find something else to catch your eye.
Так, не надо, не надо. Что у тебя есть? Одноручная дробящая. Рунический ревентельский боевой. С двумя гнездами. А это что? Двуручная палец эльфийской работы. Еще круче. 11 от огня. 1884. Ну вообще... 18 воли. Так, ведунья. Да зачем мне игра предлагает ведунью, либо следопыта, если я за гнома играю? Бред какой-то. Так, ну сапоги я найду. А сколько у меня? 98, 148. Давай продам и куплю другую штуку. Так, продать. Купить. Так, где тут у меня 185, 226. 226. Давай. Так. Ага. И вставим кое-что. Оружейного оглушивания. Оружейные навыки оглушают врагов 100%. Вставить камень. 5 сил, ловкость. 75 ярость, урон. Урон от холода, выносливость. Урон от огня. Глубокие раны. Это предмет можно для добавления. Глубокие раны. Просто плюс 20 к урону или что, как это понимать? 55 здоровья. Ну давай. Глубокие раны. Ебануть сюда, да. Плюс 11 от огня. Все, окей. Так, еще надо поговорить с остальными. С тобой побазарили. Пошли теперь с двумя близнецами базарить.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Imladris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there.
Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel.
And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
What was it that brought you to Fornost?
We often ride far afield hunting the orcs, wherever we may find them. We came upon signs of a large band of goblins making their way from the orc hold of Mount Gram and followed their trail to Fornost, where we lost no time in attacking them.
I take it you often join forces with Aragorn?
Yes, we often venture forth in company with the Dunedain, and none more frequently than Aragorn. He was raised here in our household, after all.
How is it that a man was raised here among elves?
It is a tradition for the heirs of Isildur to be fostered in the House of Elrond. We have sheltered all the chieftains of the Dunedain from the time the Northern Kingdom ceased to be down to this present day. Aragorn is the 16th in line from father to son to spend his early years in Imladris. This is one reason why the bond between the elves and the Dunedain is so strong.
Will you tell me more about your family? I know Elrond is your father.
Yes, it was he who established the refuge of Imladris. My brother and I have dwelt here all our lives. Our sister Arwen dwells here as well, although she has spent many years in the company of our grandmother.
And your mother, does she dwell here also?
Our mother has crossed the sea and left Middle-earth. It is a bitter tale to tell. Many years passed. On a journey across the Misty Mountains, our mother was captured by orcs. We searched the mountains without rest until we found her at last. Our father was able to heal her injuries, but the memory of her torment was too terrible for her to bear. At last she chose to depart for the Undying Lands. Perhaps now you understand why our hatred for the orcs is so great.
That's an awful tale to hear. I shouldn't have brought it up.
No, my friend. We have drawn swords together in the same cause. You have earned our trust. We do not wish to keep anything hidden from you. This is the evil that we have pledged our lives to destroy, just as you have.
I may need a few things before I'm ready to set out. Can anyone here help me with that?
If it is provisions or other supplies you need, you should speak with Alari. And if your arms and armor need tending, seek out Angmir. Both of them may be found nearby.
Farewell, and luck be with you.
Готовчик. Так, Гимли. Сейчас, подожди. Сначала к этому бродачу подойдем.
Farron, my lad, by my beard, it's good to see you again. When you left Erebor to stand guard on the Shire, Gimli and I feared we might be seeing the last of you. Now I hear you stood with the Rangers in the battle against the Nazgul at Sarn Ford, and bested an orc chieftain at Fornost. Good work.
I can't take all the credit. I had Andriel, an elf of Rivendell, and the ranger, Erodan, at my back.
Reminds me of the old days when dwarves, elves, and men fought together in the Battle of the Five Armies.
Then I've your blessing being allied with an elf?
I will speak plainly. I may be less than fond of King Thranduil's wood elves for keeping me in their dungeons, but I've no grudge with any of Elrond's folk.
So I've heard you say many times, but the elves fought beside us when it mattered most.
You're right, of course. I can be a stiff-necked old dwarf, but it's time to set aside grievances that were long ago repaid. When dwarves, men, and elves fought together at Erebor, we overcame legions of foes. But we face a far more terrible enemy in the Dark Lord. Standing together against Agandaur may be more than just a good idea. It may be our only hope to save the North.
Let's not leave out the Eagles. They've been a big help to us.
Well spoken. Thorin's quest and the Battle of Five Armies would have met disaster without the help of the Eagles. You're fortunate to have gained the friendship of such noble creatures. Your life may well depend upon your choice of friends, whatever kindred they be.
And besides, it wouldn't hurt to keep Sauron a little distracted. If we keep him second-guessing his plans for the conquest of the North, it could only help Frodo in the long run.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly, and it's time to be about your business. Goodbye, and good luck to you.
Здорово, мелкий.
Hello, you are Farin, aren't you? I was hoping I would get a chance to speak with you.
Hi, and you must be Frodo Baggins. Aragorn and Gandalf have told me all about you, and the burden you bear.
Likewise, they have told me all about you. I wanted to thank you and your friends for all you did to keep us safe on our journey to Rivendell.
Will you tell me about your journey here? Sounds as if it were a rough one.
We had trouble almost from the start. The Black Riders were always just behind us, and we nearly met disaster in the Burrow Downs, at Bree, and again at Weathertop.
You came through the Burrow Downs? I won't soon forget that accursed place. You were lucky to come out alive. That's no place for hobbits to go a-wandering.
You seem to know a great deal about the Burrow Downs already. I'd prefer not to speak about what we found there. It is too horrible to dwell on, even here in the safety of Rivendell.
What happened to you in Bree? We must have just missed crossing paths there.
There were spies in Bree, and our room was attacked in the night. If Strider hadn't convinced us to sleep elsewhere, our journey would have ended then and there.
You came through the Burrow...
You seem to know a great deal about the Burrow Down.
What happened at this place called Weathertop?
We were attacked by 5 of the Black Riders. I was foolish, and I put on the ring. One of them wounded me before Aragorn managed to drive them away. The knife that was used against me left a shard in the wound. From what Gandalf has told me, the fragment was working its way inward. If it had reached my heart, I would have become a wraith under the power of the Black Riders. Fortunately, we were able to reach Rivendell in time for Elrond's healing arts to save me.
It is a little thing, this ring, but filled with mischief. Will you show it to me?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, but Gandalf and Elrond have warned me against revealing the ring to anyone. even proven friends. I hope you understand.
I think I do begin to understand. I shouldn't have asked. Forgive me.
There is nothing to forgive. But the ring, it has a strange effect on everyone around it. It is better for it to remain hidden.
It truly is a heavy burden you bear, Frodo. I hope you find strength and wisdom on the long road ahead. Farewell.
Осталось вроде как 2 перса.
Gimli, son of Glóin! This is a happy meeting. But what brings you to Rivendell? What has passed for good or ill since I left the mountain?
Aye, and it's good to see you again, kinsman. I've heard of your exploits at Sarnford and Fornost. They sing your praises here. After you left to aid in the protection of the Shire, the foul messenger from Mordor returned yet again with more threats. King Dain thought it best to seek advice from Elrond. He chose Glóin to speak for him. When my father set out, I refused to be left behind, as happened with Thorin's quest. You were there at the Battle of the Five Armies, while I was left to cool my heels at the hearthside. Well, not this time. I go with the hobbit Frodo and his chosen 9, even if one of them must be a wood elf.
I know little of hobbits. What think you of this Frodo with such a burden to bear?
I know that he's Bilbo's adopted heir, and that such great folk as Elrond and Gandalf regard him with honor. He's already come far with the ring, and endured the knives of those Nazgul. That's good enough for me. He's hereabouts somewhere if you wish to speak with him.
Who's this wood elf you spoke of? It's a long way from the forests of Mirkwood.
Legolas is his name, a fair-haired princeling and son to King Thranduil. Elrond has chosen him to represent the kindred of elves in Frodo's party. His purpose in Rivendell was to report that they'd let a prisoner escape. An easier escape than my father had when they held him in their dungeons.
Come, Gimli, that's an old grudge, and not even your own. The elves of Mirkwood fought and died alongside us in the Battle of Five Armies, and my new friend, Andriel, has saved my hide more than once.
Aye, true enough. For Frodo's sake, I must bear the company of Legolas and make the best of it. Perhaps he won't be entirely insufferable. And besides, we've enough to worry about as it is, what with this Agandaur skulking about in the north.
The Battle of Five Armies was long and terrible, and many valiant lives were lost. Glory is of little use to the dead.
You say it as one who has won a share of glory and lived to tell of it, and doubtless will do so again. Don't begrudge me this chance to show the worth of a dwarf against hopeless odds. But in truth, it's not for glory I take this road. It's for the sake of all who lie under the shadow of the enemy. It's Frodo who bears the true burden.
We killed an orc chieftain and drove Agandaur from his stronghold. What worries you about the north?
Before we left, we heard that Mordor was stirring up the Easterlings. But should they be foolish enough to move against King Brand of Dale, they'll find King Dain of Erebor standing fast at his side. But every step of the way here, we heard rumor of new gatherings of orcs and goblins and worse things. And though the fearful count every enemy twice, there may be some truth to it. You found such enemies at Fornost. When Sauron strikes, there will be more than one land that feels his wrath. I fear for the Shire and Rivendell, but my heart would rest more easily if I knew you kept watch over them. If Faron of the Lonely Mountain defends the north, then no enemy can prevail.
You don't ask much, but my friends and I will do what we can. If you can bear the honor of the dwarves on your quest, I can do no less here. You have my word on it.
What's this, kinsman? You dally in Rivendell when there's important work to be done. And if the scouts dally, so do we. I may be forced to go troll hunting in your place.
The Battle of Five...
You say it as... but in truth,
You have the luck of it to bear the honor of the dwarves on that quest. When do you leave for the south?
We'll not be leaving until Elrond's scouts return. They've gone off in all directions in search of the Nazgul. in case any survived the flooding of the river. But they have eyes out for other dangers as well.
I volunteered for such a mission. My friends and I are to search the Ettenmoors for signs of what this Agendaur may be planning.
Good, good. I don't like the sound of him. He reminds me too much of the Black Rider they sent to our doorstep demanding word of Bilbo. Well, don't delay, kinsman. The sooner the scouts return, the sooner my party can set out. The road to Mordor is long and grim, but I'll fulfill my oath, though all the orcs of Middle-earth stand in my way. Still, it would be better to have only the south to worry over, and not the north as well.
Fare you well, kinsman. May we both find victory at the end of our roads.
Все, один остался. Телочка Арагорна.
Legovanen, well met and welcome to the safe haven of Imladris.
My thanks. I'm much honored to meet you, Lady Arwen.
Durin's folk are welcome here. You have endured great danger and given us urgent warning of a new threat to the north. For this, we honor you, Farin.
Well, it was nothing, lady. It's nice of you fair folk to welcome a dwarf.
You show the modesty worthy of a hero. Estelle and my brothers have spoken highly of your courage at Fornost, and I thank you for your part in seeing to my brother's safe return. Please, take your ease and rest a while in our halls. You will find all your heart could desire, whether it be food, drink, song, or storytelling.
Estelle? Who might this person be?
Your pardon, good dwarf. It is my way to call Aragorn by the name he was given as he grew up in Imladris. Estelle means hope.
He has a long list of names, to be sure. How'd he come by that one?
It is common practice to foster the children of chieftains of the Dunedain in Imladris. Aragorn was but 2 years of age when his mother, Gilrain, brought him here after his father was slain by an orc arrow, Isildur. Elrond became like a father to him. Knowing the enemy sought ever for a living heir of Isildur, he renamed the boy Estelle to keep his true name and lineage hidden. Aragorn was 20 before Elrond revealed these things to him and gave him tokens of his heritage. But he remains Estelle to me, for he is my heart's hope, even as he is the hope of the Dunedain.
If you pardon my saying so, you speak his name with an uncommon fondness. Do I guess right?
Long ago, I pledged myself to him beneath the golden boughs of Lothlorien, saying to him, "Dark is the shadow, and yet my heart rejoices, for you, Estelle, shall be among the great, whose valor will destroy it." Yet there is much pain in this choice, for I am Elrond's daughter and half-elven. To cleave to Estelle, I must forsake my immortal life and become mortal, accepting the bitter with the sweet. Even should Imladris endure this war, Elrond will leave Middle-earth, and we will be parted beyond the end of the world. It is the price I must pay to bring love and hope to Estelle, to Aragorn.
I'd happily sit for a long spell in Rivendell, but Elrond set my friends and me a task to scout the Ettenmoors. We'd best be on our way soon.
Then I will not keep you, but we may be of service to one another. I am helping my father brew a potion known as Miraval. One sip of Miraval can renew heart and soul, and bring new vigor to weary limbs. I am in short supply of certain rare ingredients that may be found in the Ettenmoors. If I gave you a list of the ingredients, perhaps you could bring any you find while carrying out your mission. With enough ingredients, I will return the favor by brewing an extra flask that you may have for your own use.
That's a generous offer, Lady Arwen. I'll keep an eye out for what you need and bring it back once I finish scouting around.
Так, все, реально все? Или есть еще что-то?
I continue to brew Miraval, but I am
Стихи Бильбо еще.
been many years since I first met Bilbo the Renowned, and it's an honor to meet him again. There's no one quite like him, don't you think?
I had once thought Bilbo unique, but now that I have met Frodo, I say that elves know less of hobbits than we think. They have a strength within that is far greater than their stature. How many of us, thinking ourselves strong, could have borne the ring as long as Bilbo did, without being turned to evil? It sustained him, so that he is now very old amongst his kind, but it did not stain him, nor has it lessened his love of poetry and song. Dear old Bilbo, I believe there is nothing he loves more, except a good meal. In that, he remains a true hobbit.
Bilbo asked for help with a poem. I'm fond enough of the dwarvish sort of poetry, but this elvish verse is beyond me. He asked for your help, saying the subject is a matter very close to your heart.
Then it must be about Estelle. He is fond of writing verses in honor of his good friend, and therefore often comes to me for advice. You may leave it with me, Farin. I will give it some thought and answer him myself.
Thank you, that's a relief. It's not for a dwarf to be writing lines about the kings of men. And anyway, I have little time to spare for poetry. By your leave, lady, I should be going. Farewell.
Подожди, там еще есть реплики.
Farin. It is good of you to visit me again. My thoughts stray off into Estelle and I continue to brew Miraval, but I am concerned about...
Так.
Not that I mind helping, but is this Miravor worth all the effort?
You will be able to judge for yourself if you can bring me the ingredients. One sip restores strength, uplifts the spirit, and brings hope to the weary.
If they are anywhere to be found, then you shall have them.
Ну и все, наконец-то. Горный мед. Полчаса. А все 45 минут нужны, чтобы прослушать все диалоги в одной локации. Конкретно в этой. Да, перейти. Так, испытать булаву надо свою.
But the moors stretch on for many leagues. It would be easy to miss something in these rugged crags and valleys.
Let us continue the search, but be wary. More than one ranger has been lost in these wild lands.
Foul creatures!
Да ты что? Ой, какая булава охуительная, вообще нравится. Пошел нахуй. Ну и хули. Эх, текстуры, текстурки. Первый есть. Второй есть. Какая булава охуительная. Жалко, ее не было, когда с Вовчиком проходили. Так, как мне туда пробраться? Вот здесь вот. Да. Если все булавы так оглушают с врагов, тогда на булавы я лучше перейду. Жопу поднял свою, сука. Все, опустил. Отлично. Так ли? Да за добивание, походу, больше опыта дают, чем если просто буду пиздить их слабой атакой. Так, надо мед какой-то, да? Он, наверное, на дерево будет. Каком-то. Так, ну давай. Хорош. Меч туманных пор. К Бильбо, наверное, надо было еще подойти. Сказать, что я стихотворение отдал. Вот ведь сука. Так, хорош. Назад, назад. Красота. Так, что еще? Все падает. Отлично. Отлично. Так, сейчас, ребят. Сейчас. Убивашка. Поехали. Еще один. А, ну это ты его, наверное, сейчас захерачит. Чисто оторваться парень прилетел. Красавчик Белерам, красавчик.
Greetings, my friends. I could scarce believe what I saw from above. But elf, dwarf, and man battling the enemy together, such things are not often seen. I knew it had to be you.
Belaram, it is a strange coincidence that we should meet again so soon. I did not think to find you here in the Ettenmoors.
Nor did I. It does seem a strange coincidence, but a happy one, nonetheless.
We were told the Ettenmoors were dangerous, but the place is thick with enemies. Is there something going on we should know about?
Indeed there is. The orcs and trolls of the Ettenmoors are gathering to follow in the wake of Bagrisar, a corrupt stone giant. The foul folk respect his strength, and they will follow him for plunder and the chance to do evil. The giant must be stopped before he can bring this army to bear against our friends and allies.
Gandalf the Grey told us he traveled in the Ettenmoors without any trouble only a few weeks ago. But look at it now. Enemies are thicker than fleas on a warg's hide around here.
These moors are always dangerous, a breeding ground for trolls and orcs. But even here, it is unusual to see so many enemies openly assembling. The presence of Bagrisar makes them bold. They believe he will lead them to the bloodshed and plunder they crave. And it may well be, unless the giant is destroyed.
Any chance there will be more than one giant to deal with?
I do not believe so, for we have learned Bagrisar is an outcast among his own kind. They disowned him for past crimes, and will offer him no protection from our vengeance.
You and your kin live in the Ettenmoors?
No, we keep our areas atop the high peaks of the nearby Misty Mountains. We have come to the Ettenmoors in pursuit of Bagrisar.
You're scouting, huh? Does that mean there are more eagles nearby?
My lord Gwaihir is gathering his strength. There will soon be many of my kind in the Ettenmoors. We must destroy Bagrisar. The sooner the better.
An enemy of yours is an enemy of ours. We'll join with you in the hunt for this giant.
Your aid would be most welcome. Together we may be able to best him. Every hour he lives, his following grows greater. Let us press on.
Поспешим, давай поспешим, да. Вот это все взяли. Больше ничего нигде не блестит, как посмотреть задание. Сейчас, погоди чуть-чуть. Погоди немножко. Так, давай вот это сюда. Да, сохранить. Так. Вот. Зеленый берил, золотистые берилы, красные берилы. Цветок мерилотта. Горный мед. Кристаллы геливорра. Ясно, понятно. Сейчас, погоди чуть-чуть. Нет. Так. Нет. Что нужно? 18 воли надо. 18 воли. Я уже все вкачал, что ли? Нет. 18 воли. Давай. Все. Еще один уровень надо для воли. На нахуй. Понятно. На нахуй. Сука. Все, успокоился. Успокоился, сука. Так, а зачем сюда? Затем только тролль. Ладно, давай его херачим. Ебаш, 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 ебаш. Задел все-таки, мразь. Пойдем-ка мы в другое секретное место. Так, собрать, что собрать? А, вот здесь где-то еще было. Ничего себе. Так бы я его не увидел. Так, все, я собрал. Я все, сука, собрал. Где это лежало, я не понял вообще. Алло. Так, фальш-стена.
Of gold. All that glitters is not gold. This is.
Удачненько. И еще удачненько. Какая же, сука, красота. Бля, нравится булава, нравится. Пиздатая. Угу. Свитки, свитки, не забудем, не забывать про свитки. Опа, опа. Сейчас, погоди. Так, сейчас, погоди. Сундук, сундук надо взять. Потом может за человека поиграть. Как это, понравится мне с двумя пушками ходить или нет. Интересно. Так, тут мы тролля завалили, да? Да. Пещеру еще это не облапал я. Кольцо великого чертога. «20 воли». Короче, в волю надо сейчас въебашиваться. Так, еще колечко. Восстановление могущества. А могущество это фурьёку. Вроде как. Так, что у меня тут есть? Что-нибудь потратить бы. Например, чилочку. Нет. Куда-нибудь что-нибудь вставить бы. Урон от холода. Так. Чтобы продать. Дойти бы до телепорта. Угу. Угу. Так, давай-ка разберемся сначала с этими уёбками. Погодите немножко с орлами. Орлов копим на следующую сложность. Так, золотая трубка. Так, ну-ка давай. Вот сука. Угу. Так, передать. Нет, передать, выбросить. Так, взять эликсир, а теперь взять трубку. И почему эликсиры не суммируются друг с другом? Бред. Так, можем пойти дальше, а можем пойти сначала в пещеру. Если нахуй в пещеру идем. Вот сука. Нужен телепорт. Игра, дай, пожалуйста, телепорт. Очень надо. Пошли сначала лучники. Она взрывает его. Все, до свидания, сука. Ну ты будешь бить, нет его, блядь? Или танцевать будешь, сука? Все, хорош. Добивает мразь. Набил так набил. Пошел нахуй. Как тебе нравится? Отца. Исчезни. Да, я и не сомневался. Добивалочка. Поехали. Красота. Ай, красота. Так, надо вот так вот. Что тут у нас еще есть? Использовать. Давай настойку используем. Так. Эльфийский камень. Урона молнии. Куда могу вставить? Могу охуеть немножко от этого дерьма. Все, наконец-то. Чекпоинт. Чекпоинт. Так, есть телепорт, пожалуйста. Телепорт нужен. Лучники над нами. Уже. Пошел нахуй. Стреляй, что ты стоишь? Дематериализовался парень. Нахуй. И еще нахуй. Блядь. Заполненный полный инвентарь. Короче, нет тут. Бля, надо бы найти. Очень хочется найти. Очень надо найти. Для самородков пока место есть. Да-да, сейчас, погоди. Сейчас, погоди. Блять, ну отсюда даже не видно ничего. Выходи отсюда. Пошел нахуй. Хорош. А то зелье, которое я выпил, оно все еще, блядь, действует. Надо бы им запастись. Ну, у этого следопыта такой же удар, как и у меня. Я вижу. Да отъебись. Так, ну что, идем дальше или там? Я думаю, нам пошли вниз сначала. Это вдруг сейчас опять комп перезагрузится сам по себе. Угу.
All that glitters is not gold, but this is.
Да мать твою, серьезно. Так, воля. Давай, до 20-очки на всякий случай. Боевой клич, сокрушительный удар, увеличение урона от навыков. Так, давай вот это. Да, сохранить. Угу. Угу. Ловкость 16 нужна. Так, это щиты мне не надо. Так, сила, шанс похитить здоровье 2%. Не нужно мне здоровье. Так, сила. Сила плюс воля. Вот это давай. Что там хотелось еще? Нет, нет. Нет, глубокий ран и холод. Да ты что, издеваешься? Нет, конечно. Давай назад эту хуйню. Так, надо что-нибудь освободить. Так, урон от молний. Нет. Не подойдет. Мне надо что-нибудь для брони. Ловкость. 5 ловкость. Выносливость. Вот давай 5 ловкости. Перчаточки. Да. Так, и теперь я могу. Я ведь могу? Не могу. 16 надо. Все, хорош. Пока хорош. Прекрасно.
We need to pass that gate.
They have trapped us.
You fear to face the dwarf. Back war, coward!
In the trees.
We must work together to overcome these odds. Feel my wrath and despair!
Так, что ты делаешь? Хули ты промахиваешься? О, сука.
We can continue our journey.
Набедренник. Вот и наконец-то телепорт. Наконец-то сейчас и закончим.
This cave stinks of troll.
Так, продать. И починиться бы еще. Да, сука. Не хотел я этого. Так, не надо, не надо. Не надо. Так, вот это давай продадим. Потому что сейчас купим новые. 55 здоровья говно. Урон от молнии говно. Навыки оглушают говно. Плюс 5 силы говно. Выносливость плюс 5. Урон от огня оставлю. Урон от молнии оставлю. Так, выносливость. Давай, до свидания. Плюс 5 воли. Останется. Так, не надо. Не надо. Не надо. До свидания. Нет. 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 Так. Так. Все остальное мне надо. Так. Угу. Все, идем чиниться. Так, идем чиниться, давай. Где наш кузнец?
Ah, it's good to see you.
Все очень круто. С Бильбо поговорить о стихах, которые я отдал.
Greetings! I hope the Lady Arwen will have some good suggestions for my verse. I'm really most eager to finish the thing.
Do all hobbits share your love of poetry?
Yes, I suppose so, although usually our songs and poems concern good food, good drink, and good humor. All those things we love the most. It's quite a bit different from what you find here in Rivendell.
But you were writing a poem about Aragorn. Certainly that is no drinking song.
Well, one can't live long among the elves without some of their habits rubbing off, I suppose. Although I doubt I will ever match the elven appetite for music, poetry, and tales. They seem to like them as much as food, maybe even more.
Well, you'll never finish that poem if I don't stop pestering you with my questions. So, farewell for now.
О, Леголас ушел уже. Все. Фрода тоже нету. Ясно.
Farin, it is good to see you safely return to it.
No one's happier about that than I am, lady. I've a gift for you. The items from the Ettenmoors you asked for.
Thank you. You have brought these in good time, for we have made barely enough Mirrorvore for present need, and now there is none to spare. With these supplies, I can replace what has been given away, and as I promised, I have kept aside a flask for you. Mirrorvore is potent. Thus, I would advise you to keep this against a time when you're sorely hurt, and your strength of will falters. Drink of it then, and you will be restored.
My thanks, Lady Arwen. I won't forget your generosity. If you pardon my saying so, you look troubled. Is something bothering you? How can I help?
You have done much already, but I will lay my problem before you. For many years, I have worked secretly upon a banner for Estelle, for Aragorn. It is my hope he will bear it triumphantly into Gondor, when the time is right for him to reclaim his heritage. This must be a banner like no other, and must endure for the ages. To that end, I am using the most precious of metals, mithril. Our most skilled smith, Angmir, has drawn mithril into thread for me. The embroidery is nearly done, but as careful as I have been, I fear what I have may not be enough to complete the design.
Mithril! That's a kingly gift indeed. But where outside the mines of Moria could more be found?
It is true, there is nowhere in Middle-earth where mithril might still be mined other than Moria. Yet in ages past, quantities of this precious metal made their way by trade and gift to many other places in the world.
Aye, there are items of mithril to be found in the vaults of the Lonely Mountain. They are among the oldest and most treasured heirlooms of my kin.
Still, it seems there is little hope that more mithril can be found in so short a time. What exists in the world is likely considered too precious to part with.
Tell me about this banner. Why is it so important to you?
It bears the symbols of Elendil, from whom Aragorn is descended. I have embroidered upon black cloth the high crown of the kings of Numenor, and 7 stars in which I have set brilliant jewels. Below them is the White Tree of Gondor, the symbol of Aragorn's claim to the throne of that realm and all the lands of the Dunedain. With this banner go all my hopes. My hope for Estelle to help overthrow the enemy and become king, and for our long pledge of love to be fulfilled. Either our hope will come, or all hope will be lost. These things I have pondered during the many hours I have labored over this banner. There is hope in every thread, and no few tears as well.
Maybe there's something else you can use instead of mithril.
I have used both gold and mithril, but surely you, Farin, of all people, appreciate the value of mithril, or true silver. The dwarves valued it above all other metals. You know of its sheen like silver that never tarnishes, and how it is supple enough to be worked into fine thread, stronger than steel. Nothing but mithril can serve my needs.
Who's to say? What you can't have for gold or barter, you can still sometimes wring from the hands of an enemy. It'd be worth it to feel mithril in my hands, to see its beauty and strength close up. Oh, and for Aragorn's sake, of course. If I do find any, lady, it will be yours.
That is a noble offer. I would not ask you to go into such danger for this alone, for it may yet prove that I already have all that I require. Still, it would ease my mind, and I would see that you were well rewarded for your courage and generosity. May Elbereth watch over you and keep you safe.
Так, все ушли, значит, надо еще со всеми повторно побазарить для полноты диалогов. Истинное серебро, митрил.
Well met again, foreign lad. What can I do for you?
It's good to have you here, but what's keeping you away from Erebor?
I'd leave tomorrow, but Elrond thinks I should stay put. He says that an elder dwarf, old is what he means, such as myself, is too easy a target traveling between here and the mountain. I fear he may be right. It was dangerous enough when we first traveled west. Now the return path is overrun with orcs and goblins and such like. And with my boy Gimli going off with the Fellowship, well, here I'll stay for the present.
I've collected these gems for the elfsmith Angmir. They look good to me, but your knowledge of precious stones is far greater than mine. Will you take a look at them?
My pleasure. I always enjoy handling fine gems. Oh, yes. These are excellent stones. See here, the depth of color. The way they seem to shine with an inner light. In fact, I've a fancy to buy them from you. I never tire of collecting such stones, and I've plenty of coin in my purse. How is the weight of your own purse these days?
Ha! Nothing like a good bit of haggling to fire the blood. Kinsman or no, you'll have to do better than that.
I suppose I can sweeten the deal somewhat, but I didn't bring all the wealth of Erebor with me.
You don't fool me. I know the value of these stones. Look how they seem to shine with an inner light.
All right. You've taken me to task fair and proper, but this is my final offer. And a good price it is.
I like a full purse as well as the next dwarf, but I don't want to disappoint the elfsmith. A promise is a promise.
Ah, well. Fair enough. But the offer stands if you change your mind.
А я вообще забыл про эту договоренность. Хорошо, что не продал сейчас.
Those who venture into the wild.
У нее ничего нового. Так, у близнецов чё, как дела?
The sun shines, a far cry from the blood and... Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been... And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
It's a pleasant enough place, all right. But I've already promised to search the Ettenmoors for any sign of the enemy. How about you? You don't seem like the type to sit idle for long.
No, indeed. We are to set off at once on a similar mission to your own. Only we will travel south, seeking for signs of the Nazgul or other threats. Aragorn will accompany us at least part of the way.
Farewell, and...
Я иду, чувак, я иду.
Welcome. I'm curious about those gemstones we spoke of. Has Glóin confirmed their quality?
He has. Here they are.
Ah, excellent. I will put these to good use. And since you have provided me with the materials I need to fashion more elf stones, I would be pleased if you would accept some of my already finished work. Take whichever suits you best.
Так. Подарочек. Полное здоровье, могущество плюс до силы плюс 20%, ловкость плюс 20%, выносливость плюс 30%, время действия 5 минут. Нихуя себе. Да, надо реально это попридержать. Так, а ты давай. Больше денег в тайниках. 25 воли, плюс 5 ловкость, плюс 30 урон. Так. Вот это давай. Так, главное сейчас не продать это никому случайно. Ага. А зелье все еще длится. У тебя что-нибудь новое есть? Для тебя свитки какие-то нужны были?
Greetings, my...
Is there anything more you can tell me about?
Only that the Etten Moors are a dangerous place at the best of times. The danger will be that much greater if the orcs and trolls are being...
Who could raise such...
Agendour would be my first...
Whatever may be happening.
Так. Так, ну Арагорн тоже съебал уже, получается, с Братством Кольца. Так, меча больше нет тут. Про меч можно узнать у кого-нибудь? У того же кузнеца, например.
Hello again.
I've found a few things on my travels that you might be interested in.
Ah, these are... Although these...
What do you mean by that?
Only that with a work such as this, the finished product is liable to reflect the nature of the smith who assembles.
I'd like to see what an elven smith can do. Go ahead.
Very good. There, it is finished. May this serve you well, my friend.
Oh, say, that's not bad work.
Так, ну что у нас? Что там у нас? Меч Ангмира. Урон от огня, замедление износа. А, ну понятно. Посох Ангмира. Ну, давай. Давай меч. А, я с таким мечом с Вовчиком играл. Нормально. Пойдет. Хорошо. Возвращаемся на Мшанник. Давай, да. И откуда я начну? В следующий раз, интересно. Ага, все. Верно. Все верно. Прекрасное, хорошее сохранение.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.